So I'm sure many of you saw Trump's post on Truth Social today with his little Sharpie hate note highlighting the interest rates of other countries, including Switzerland, Cambodia, Japan, and Botswana, screaming, why can't we be like them? Why can't we? We're too late. We're too late. The problem with this is countries like Switzerland and Japan, universal health care, wage protections, price cap, that scary word, socialism. What's really ironic is like he's including Cambodia in here and Botswana even in the top 10. Botswana. These are places where people live cheaply, not by choice, but to fucking survive. Their low rates, really reflect their low expectations. What can I say? And with much love here to the people of Cambodia, please don't take this wrong, but the current big beautiful bill that they're trying to pass today, clearly we're not on a bus to Switzerland. Clearly. I mean, we're literally looking at Medicaid being slashed, right? SNAP benefits cut so low. They expect your kid to age out of hunger by what, 7? Let's talk about wage growth, since we're on the topic of growth. Look at this. The House GOP's version of this bill predicted less than 0.05%. So many are really probably hoping for this paltry 0.4% that the Senate is offering up. Guys, this isn't growth. That's statistical illusion that will literally disappear the moment there's a crisis in the Gulf, again, between Iran and whoever else they piss off, or another massive issue with avian flu, which, by the way, so much for that fucking vaccine initiative to, help us avoid those types of inflationary events. So, we're not going to see any rent control, no cost of living buffers, no health or social safety nets when all of these jobs were being lost. And that's just in the green energy sector. 330,000 jobs. That's the technicians. That's blue collar working families going to lose their jobs. And, it's well, to what end is this? A paltry extra $1,000 a year on a child tax credit? That's a fucking joke. That's less than $100 a month in a break if you break it down and do the math. No tax on cash tips. Cash tips are not the law of the land anymore unless restaurants start imposing cash-only tips. And even then, there's a cutoff when those are more than 20% of your income. You can't claim after that. No tax on overtime. They're still going to take your tax money out of your paychecks, and then you get a tax deduction at the end of the year. Unless you push yourself into a next tax bracket, then you may decide, maybe I don't want to claim those overtime deductions. All of this ranting and raving of his at Jerome Powell and everything else is him trying to smooth things over so that you don't get all pissed off when you realize that these rich assholes are lining their pockets with further business tax breaks that you could hear read to you on the floor all day yesterday. So while you're sitting there in your crumbling little fucking town, unable to afford, a new infrastructure levy to help rebuild your bridges, you're going to listen to those sonic engines flying overhead of a billionaire near you going to their favorite place in Nepal for a weekend wedding. When you start cutting the financial foundations that many Americans depend on to survive and raise families in this country, you're doing more than just leading us to a even further fragmented, unjust system to live in. You're creating a culture where desperation requires you to be living cheaper, not by choice, but by necessity. You're leaving your citizenry hungrier, meaner. And the last thing you want is a starving, frustrated, overburdened population in a country that's got a massive gun lobby.